Hello. Today I thought I'd try out the new Adventurers quest. If you're into cozy solo games or cozy solo drawing activities, these might be for you. They're very simple fantasy world building activities, very much focused on drawing, but you can journal or make things. Today I will be drawing, my favourite thing, and I will be creating a new adventurer character with our adventurers quest. Ta-da! So it comes packaged like this, and then inside you get a little introduction letter, a random idea generator to help you with ideas for your adventurer, a map for your adventurer to explore so you can choose where they're going, where they travel, and an example that we've created right here. So the first thing we need to do is use a random idea generator to discover your adventurer's motivation, so their reason for traveling or adventuring, their skills, and their personality, emotions, and behaviour. So I rolled once for motivation and got a student or academic researching a specific creature or plant. For skills, we have telling stories. I'm always a big fan when the two don't obviously connect, but kind of can connect in a more creative, unconventional way. So I'm excited to try and get those two together. And their personality is cautious, calm, and logical. So again, there's a bit of contradiction there, but people are complicated, characters are complicated, and I think it'll be fun to try and get all of this into a new adventurer character. I'm now going to decide where this adventurer might be going on the map. I think the obvious choice is Denaldu for my character because it is a place of research. It's a peculiar topsy-turvy woodland, so the trees grow upside down, and it attracts lots of scholars, sorcerers, and librarians. And it seemed like the obvious choice, but what kind of drew me to choose something different was within the adventurer's personality or characteristics was cautious. And I don't think they'd feel cautious going there. I think they'd be quite confident because they're around their peers. So I wanted to choose somewhere that was like the opposite of that, that they may feel less comfortable in. So I've chosen to get them to adventure to Highbrook's Tunnel. Now, Highbrook's Tunnel is deep under Lake Highbrook and connects the towns of Lowbrook and the industrial Orford city. It's a shady establishment. It's a market full of quite a lot of crime, activities that are probably in the grey area. Neither Orford City or Lowbrook can decide whose responsibility it is. So that's where my adventurer character is heading. So I'm going to use all of this information to create my character now. My initial thoughts are, because they're also logical, they might not necessarily stay on the right side of the law in their scholarly pursuits. So I think their research will take them to Highbrook Tunnel to find a particular plant that is outlawed for some particular reason. So this is kind of personal studies for the adventurer of a mysterious and illegal plant. And I quite like the idea of them being quite obsessive about it. So I think they're calm because this isn't their first time. They're cautious because of the environment, but they're calm because they feel like they're on the right path. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting character. I think what I want to start with is deciding their appearance, because I'm quite keen to make them not look stereotypical. I quite like the idea of them being small, so they're able to be somewhat invisible or blend into their environment a bit better. So I think they're clever about their clothes, they're small and therefore easy to get around somewhere without being noticed, especially if they're doing something a bit sneaky, a bit secretive. So small, clever with their clothes, and scholarly. So there needs to be some sort of indication of their motivations just to kind of help the viewer, because obviously when you're designing a character, there are some elements of communication that you have to put in there to help the person looking at it know what's happening. So I think the obvious answer is glasses. That's always the obvious one. But I'm quite keen to do something different. We should probably just start drawing. Okay, so I think I've finished my initial drawings. Not one of them encompasses everything. So just to talk through how I do this, I basically just start drawing. I used to try and think about things without drawing, but it's a lot easier to draw and think at the same time. So I started drawing kind of like a little worried face, kind of turned into a frog. I don't know why, but it did. And so I thought actually a frog's kind of an interesting starting point because they are small, they can hide quite easily, and they're quite delicate. And I quite like the idea of something that small and delicate having to go to something like an environment that is chaotic, like Hybrook's tunnel, and how they'd look doing it. My first drawing was really boring, as is with most drawings, isn't it? The first idea you have isn't great usually. So it's just a little worried frog with a giant backpack, a hood up, so they kind of blend in. But then from there, I just thought, I'm not sure if there's anything very exciting about that character. So then I drew something on the extreme end of it. So I rather than having a young frog, it's a very old frog, with this kind of shopping cart of plants. I think there was something interesting in that. I put the glasses on because I was like, I still haven't kind of grasped the academic side of it, but that didn't help, just made them look old, not kind of academic or smart. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll take anything from that character other than I took their kind of facial scales, like facial proportions, because I quite like this kind of exaggerated chin bulgy area for a frog. So and the plant thing stayed, so I quite like the idea of them bringing their research with them, or because they're traveling, they're unable to take care of their plants wherever they live, so they have to come with them because that is their passion, that is what they are excited about. So they keep their plants with them because they're obsessed. And I kind of took that into my next drawing, which kind of has like this slightly country vibe to it. I'm not sure about it yet, but they have this like jar terrarium on their back. I think that's cool. I like that they have to travel with their research, and it's kind of taken this form of a jar terrarium, and so they're kind of keeping this mini ecosystem alive and studying it, and they've realized in order to kind of optimize that ecosystem they've created, they need this illegal plant. There's no way around it, so they've had to bundle up their terrarium on their back, and they've had to go to Hybrook's tunnel because there is no other option. So I like the idea. It's like their first time, but they're calm but cautious and logical because this is the only option they have open to them, apparently. And they are going to get this plant, put it in their terrarium, and solve all their problems, as we like to assume when we're obsessed with something, that we are on the right path and it's going to be the solution to everything. So I think they're going to look slightly out of place, but in a kind of camouflaged way. So I think I'm going to take this third drawing and make some changes so they're a bit more conspicuous. But I quite like the hat. I think the hat might stay, but I'm really struggling to get in the storyteller aspect and making them look like an academic, because obviously I've said all that backstory and that's great, but it's not visible on the character yet. So I'm going to push this a little bit further. I think maybe books should be involved, maybe the character is reading as they're traveling, or maybe they have a cart of books. So as you're going, like, these won't be the best things you've ever made, and that's important because you're on your way to making the best thing. We just got to get through all the other bits first. So make mistakes. You are the master of your own adventure. So the quests never tell you exactly what to do. They're just kind of jumping off points, prompts, ideas to help you create your own thing. That's one of my favourite things about these quests, is you never know where it's going to lead you, and seeing what everyone else makes fills my heart with joy, because not in a million years would I expect the things I see sometimes, and it's just exciting that one starting point, a spark of an idea, can just lead people to loads of different places. I think we've got an interesting character. I decided to add inventions and contraptions because that felt scientific, like research led. Yeah, I just thought rather than adding glasses, I wanted to add something that gives an idea of what kind of researcher or academic they are, because it's not necessarily just books. So the terrarium now has things to take care of it. So there's a couple of hanging tools like some shears and an extendable rake, and this kind of watering system that is modelled off of solar panels, like solar powered camping showers. And I need to build up the terrarium more, so there's some more interesting plants in there. I wanted to go for some kind of lily style things, as they are a toad, I've decided now. I looked at frogs and I looked at toads, and I quite like how lumpy toads are, so I might make this one a bit more lumpy. Yeah, the clothes are inconspicuous, just pretty plain, because I wanted all of the attention on the kind of contraptions and travelling terrarium. Oh yeah, and also the lamp is there to attract flies that they can then eat. So the plants can eat them, and the character. But before I go, I just wanted to show you what else comes with the quest. So we've obviously looked at the random idea generator and the introduction letter and the map, but it also comes with an example that we've created. So this is another adventurer I created right at the beginning of making this quest, and he's still one of my favourites, I think. He's a postal worker, and his route is a very toxic, dangerous swamp land. But some hags live there, some witches, some criminals and scavengers and everyone else, and they still need their post. So he is in like a high-vis hazmat suit with lots of smiley faces and lots of friendly iconography, so the inhabitants of the swamplands don't hurt him. His skill was cooking, I think, from what I remember. Let me double check. Yes. Yeah, his skill was cooking, which obviously doesn't have anything to do with postal working, which makes it even better. So he loves to make these elaborate little lunches for himself that he shares with the residents of the swamplands, and he has 2 cats. But yeah, it's all on the back, so his story, along with how we made him, is all on the back. And the quest also comes with a little celebratory sticker for when you're done. This one says Wayward Adventurer, and it's so freaking cute. They're water resistant, and this one's like a matte finish. And you also get, hidden behind the sticker, is a bit of a giveaway, is a little side quest. So there's a way to expand on your adventurer, and it's just like another little activity, which I'll keep a secret. Thanks so much for watching. I hope it gives you a flavour of what the quests are like and what you can do with them, but they are very open-ended, they're very simple, so you can just get stuck in and do it for half an hour, as long as you like, as short as you like. So yeah, if you end up doing the Adventurers quest or any of the other ones, please let us know, and thank you very much. Happy world building.